In the midfield question of deal or no deal, the answer is Dan Neil. And might Ipswich Town be about to land themselves a brand new striker? Hello and welcome back to the Harvey Bell YouTube channel. It has been a very busy 24 hours on the Ipswich Town transfer front. We're going to bring you all up to date with it now, but before that, if you are new to the channel, please do press subscribe, leave a like on the video and tell me in the comment section what you think about the signing of Sunderland midfielder Dan Neil. What do you make of any of the rumours that we're going to talk about in this video? Who else do Ipswich Town need to sign in this final week of the January transfer window? Let's start by talking about Dan Neil. We'll go on to the striker rumours very shortly after. But first of all, 24-year-old Dan Neil has signed for Ipswich Town on loan from Sunderland. Now, it's a bit weird to say that it's on loan because whilst it is technically a loan from Sunderland, he only has 6 months left on his deal at the Stadium of Light, which means he will become a free agent at the end of the season. And it doesn't look like Sunderland are going to try and renew his contract. They've said their goodbyes to him on social media. It feels pretty final. It feels like his time up there is over and he is moving on to his next chapter. It's with Ipswich Town, but this benefits both the player and Ipswich Town because it's only for 6 months on loan. If Ipswich Town feel they get to the end of the season and they haven't got what they wanted out of Dan Neil, there is no obligation that we have to give him a contract or sign him as a free agent. But there's every chance that if he does do well, that is something we can look to do regardless of what division we're in. It's also good for Dan Neil because if he has a terrific 6 months, it can be a good opportunity for him to explore options at the end of his Sunderland contract. There's no guarantee that he'd want to come back to Ipswich, but he could start a bidding war amongst other clubs. He could look at other clubs. So from an Ipswich Town perspective and a Dan Neil perspective, it is a very good move. And it's a very good move now as much as it is at the end of the season, just on the basis that Ipswich Town have so many away games coming up in February. I believe we've got 5 on the trot. And one thing that we've really struggled on the road this season is a bit of physicality in midfield. Azor Matasiwa is very good at interceptions, very good at reading the game. I wouldn't say that physicality is his main strength. Jens Kajus, Jack Taylor, incredibly technical players, but Dan Neil is going to really bolster that midfield with his physicality and his strength. He captained Sunderland to play a final success in the Championship last year. Very astute in this division. Sunderland fans absolutely rave about him. They're a little bit sad to lose him. And don't be too alarmed about the fact that he hasn't played too many games for Sunderland this season. That's just to the fact that they've got Granit Xhaka in midfield. And to be fair, it's Granit Xhaka. It would be really hard to knock him out of the team. So this is a really good bit of business from Ipswich Town. We've beaten Rangers to this signing. We've beaten West Ham United to this signing. Very ambitious, a statement signing, and somebody that I expect will go straight into the team. Okay, moving on then. And we will talk about the Jaden Philogene to Besiktas rumours after this, but let's talk about the main reason why you've probably clicked on this video, and that is the continuing search for a brand new striker. And there has been a development today, and according to those were the days, Town have bid for Leeds United striker Joel Piroe. Now, Joel Piroe will be known to Ipswich Town fans on the basis that he scored on his Leeds United debut at Portman Road against Ipswich, and he has been around the Championship for a little while now. He played for Swansea before joining Leeds. He was the top scorer in the Championship last season with 16 goals, gone up to the Premier League with Leeds United this year. It hasn't particularly worked out for him at Ellen Road this season, just on the basis that he's been behind Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who's of course recaptured some of his form of a couple of years ago and has been really hard to knock out of the team. Piroe will be wanting regular minutes, but it is said that he doesn't necessarily want to go back to the Championship. The Dutchman has interest from Crystal Palace, from Celtic, from Rangers. He doesn't want to take the step back down to the Championship. It's said that the deal is currently off, but there is every chance that it comes back on in the final week of the January transfer window. We've been talking a lot, haven't we, about Ipswich Town needing a striker, and a striker that comes in, knows the division well, can score goals from the off. That is very much Joel Piroe. He knows the division. There's no qualms about that. He's scored goals in it before. And make no mistake, this would be a very good striker signing for Ipswich Town, in my opinion. He's 6'1", nice and tall, nice and physical. I think he'd link up well with Jaden Philogene, of course, Wes Burns as well. Very clinical, knows where the back of the net is. It costs £10 million for Leeds United. I don't know how much they'd be charging for him. He's a better player now, but just on the basis that he's not being used week in, week out, that might discount a little bit of the price. But that is certainly somebody that Ipswich Town seem to be looking at. And this is confirmation that Ipswich Town are looking for a striker. I don't think that's groundbreaking news, but it is nice reassurance for Ipswich Town fans, because there's been a lot of chatter on Twitter and social media recently. Are Ipswich Town even looking for a striker? And the fact that we've reportedly bid for one shows that we very much are. And there does seem to be some chat on social media as well, which I'm not going to talk about for too long because it is only social media chat, about Will Lancashire from Tottenham Hotspur. He's currently on loan at Oxford United. A young striker, similar mould to George Hurst. In actual fact, scored a few goals for the U's this season. Could that be somebody that Ipswich Town are looking at? Very much a Kieran McKenna profile of striker. My only concern of that is the fact that if that was happening, then surely Tottenham would have had to have recalled him from Oxford United by now. That's my only worry with that. I just think that that shows that it's maybe not as possible as people think it might be, although I think that would be a very good sign-in. I do like the look of him. I think he's a proper number 9, massive future ahead of him. And if it is something Ipswich Town can pull off, then I would be very, very eager to see it happen. And finally, in this video then, let's talk about a slightly obscure link that's happening between Jaden Philogene and Besiktas. Now, the first thing I want to say about this is I am a firm believer that there is no smoke without any fire. But what you do have to look at is how that fire was lit. And what we do know is Jaden Philogene's agent is a little bit of a player. It has to be said. Before joining Ipswich, he messed us around a bit. I believe there was a social media photo of him appearing at Barcelona's stadium, suggesting that Barcelona were interested in Jaden Philogene at one point. This agent is very good at drumming up interest for his player, drumming up a bit of social media conversation. Exactly why he'd want to do that right now, I don't know. But that is a very tangible explanation as to why these Besiktas rumours are suddenly coming around. I don't think Jaden Philogene would be looking to move. He's still relatively unproven in top flight football. Obviously with us in the Premier League for the second half of last season, didn't set it alight. I think a full season at Championship level would massively benefit him. That said, he is currently out injured. We have just signed Anis Mehmeti, who can play in his position. So there are those little explanations that do point towards this perhaps being believable, but I just don't think Ipswich Town would be willing to sell Jaden Philogene in this window. I don't think Besiktas would be a particularly good destination for him anyway. The Turkish Super League isn't overly competitive in the world football scene. I'm sure it's very good in its own right. I'm sure it's entertaining to watch, but when you compare it to the Premier League, the Bundesliga, the Liga, all those sorts of leagues, it certainly doesn't get as much coverage as that. It would be very much a signing where he's gone for the money rather than the ambition of playing at the top level of football. I don't know if that's disrespectful to Turkish Super League football, but I don't think that's the move that he'll be wanting at this stage in his career. Maybe later on in life he might look at doing that, but yeah, I just don't see this being something that happens this January. There are a few links to it, but they do seem to be quite obscure links. I don't know if they're picking up information off each other, so I'm not too worried about this one at this stage. But, you know, stranger things have happened in football, so we'll wait and see how it develops, but hopefully it doesn't develop too much. So as I say, it has been a busy 24 hours or so. Lots of rumours floating around, the confirmation of the Dan Neil signing. Let me know in the comment section how you feel about it all. Otherwise, thank you very much for watching and keep on keeping on.